Hey there, welcome to a brand new episode of Muzikxpress. My name is Twan, and in this week's vlog you will see my interview with Darude about his classic Feel the Beat. But before we start with the interview, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, and very important, also make sure to click the bell button, because then you will get a notification the next time a new vlog is online. And if you enjoy my interviews and you want to support Muzikxpress, you can do that via one of the links in the video description. Every donation is very much appreciated. Alright, here it is, the story behind Feel the Beat, my interview with Darude. Enjoy! Ville Virtanen is a DJ and producer from Finland who has been releasing music under the moniker Darude for over 25 years. He is known for tracks such as Feel the Beat, Out of Control, Music, and of course the hit single Sandstorm. In my previous interview with Ville, he already shared the story behind Sandstorm, but for this week's vlog I asked him if he could tell how the follow-up single Feel the Beat came to be. My first question to him was if it was hard to come up with a follow-up to Sandstorm since it was such a big hit worldwide.
Well, in theory, if you think about making a follow-up, yes, it would have been hard to follow up Sandstorm's success and be, not be nervous about it. But in reality, we actually were working on Feel the Beat almost the same time, or like right after Sandstorm was done, when we just didn't even know about Sandstorm's success really yet. So in that way, from a nerve point of view or whatever, it wasn't. And then also, Feel the Beat kind of just happened. Jaakko was working on some of the stuff already, but then he didn't feel like it was going to be like a good sounding track or a style track for him. So he was about to toss it. And I told him, please no, don't. And I got those samples, went home, started working around it and came up with something initial. And then he also heard okay, cool. Yeah, we could definitely work this to be a Darude track. And then we kind of just continued with a very similar setup that we were working on in his studio for Sandstorm. So, there's the JP 8000 or 8080 and then Nord rack, a couple of ASR 10 samplers, and I think, yeah, he had the Super JV 2080, a Roland sort of multi box with all kinds of sounds and samples, and we used some of the drums and some of bass sounds from that. And the track sounds quite similar because of the same gear used and the same, time frame and whatnot. But at the same time, it's quite different sort of compositionally. And then one thing that is sort of, I think is cool and curious about Feel the Beat is the sort of hip hop beat breakdown.
Yeah, the tempo change.
Yeah, so then we go from 138 to about 105 or so. And then there's the tempo build-up. And for the tech nerds out there or producers who maybe were not around back then, there was no visual display of the waveforms of the beat, for instance, but it was very much like Jaakko with his ASR 10 sampler slicing the beat from the attacks of the kicks and snares and hats and whatnot by ear, by these basically binary or whatever numbers on the ASR, and just finding the attack sound. And then when you speed up that beat, the MIDI file just speeds up, and that's how the speed up on the beat side is done. The same with the vocal sample, I Can Feel the Beat. So that's just cut into slices, and it just plays closer together. It sounds like the speed up thing. And when I was recreating those tracks, by the way, that was really hard to recreate, because with modern tools, you can do the pitch up and the speed up really easily, actually, but it does not sound the same.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound actually as good when you have this time stretching artifacts there. Mm-hmm. So it sounds better and more sort of original when you actually do the same kind of slicing thing, which was interesting for me. I did it the sort of easy and quick way first. I'm like, no, I can't. I have to go back and redo it.
Yeah. So whose idea was it to do a tempo change and feel the beat?
You know what? I'm not sure. In a sense that it might have been kind of either of us. It might have been Jaakko, but I know where that comes from now, or I remember. So you remember Fatboy Slim, Rockefeller Skank?
Oh yeah.
And so that has the slowdown funk. So we wanted to do something similar, but also I'm really happy like we were successful doing the same thing in our heads, but it's not the same thing in the sense that that is kind of like repeating the same stuff but just slowed down. But we came up with putting the hip hop beat there, so the whole track kind of changes, not just the tempo, but we had the different beat in it and whatnot, and it worked really well. And what's been cool about it is that a lot of DJs who are more like open format or even some hip hop DJs have incorporated either like trance in their sets through that, or some people who are trance or house or just like bar DJs have incorporated hip hop in their sets, going from 138 to and then continuing with another track from there. So that's been kind of like, I don't think we thought of that tempo change for as a DJ tool there. We just thought that it would be cool to have the tempo change and then big build up.
Yeah, it is really cool. You know, it's something different. So yeah.
If somebody's interested, the loop is actually from this Yamaha, almost like a toy keyboard called the DJX. Yeah.
Oh, funny. So was the idea from the start already to use a bit of a vocal for Feel the Beat?
Yeah, I mean, when Jaakko when I heard him toy around with the first idea, that included the Feel the Beat loop, the vocal thing, and that's from an old sample CD that he had found that loop somewhere, and that was kind of the foundation for the track. And then the very similar bass arpeggio that Sandstorm has, starting from the extended mix or the original mix second breakdown, and he was working that in a similar way. But I think that was the thing. It sounded good, but Jaakko didn't think that was his sound. So then it became mine.
Yeah. What was the most difficult part of the production?
I don't know if there was. I would say probably the build up from the slowdown part, but at the same time, technically, I think Jaakko and even I knew how to do it, but it was a lot of work. There's a lot of parts that needed to be sliced into tiny little slices and be accurate so that it would work well.
So how long did you think it took to finish the entire track?
This is a tough question. I don't remember. It couldn't have been that long after we figured out sort of the main parts of the track, and kind of because we wanted to really separate it from Sandstorm. So like I said, the Darude is not in the main part, and then it has this it's kind of a saw lead, but it's not a super saw. It's like a saw lead, but I think layered it maybe left, right, center or something, and it has different pitches, so it sounds wider and bigger. And I think just in general, figuring out the 2 or 3 main parts of the track took some time until we were happy. We had several iterations, so I'd say it probably took a few weeks in total. But I mean, also my time then with Jaakko was like, I was going to school full time, and he had some other stuff that he was doing as well, other productions and whatnot. So we would just kind of reconvene a couple of times a week, and we spent a few hours, a session or two a week like that.
So if I understood it correctly, so actually Feel the Beat was finished before you knew that Sandstorm was going to be like big.
Yes.
Okay, so then when was the idea born to make a video for Feel the Beat? I guess after the success of Sandstorm?
After the success of Sandstorm, and I think the way that we were seeing the success, and then I started having gigs outside of Finland, and like I said earlier, the success and signing to Neo Records and the global deal with that 16-inch then I think that warranted a professional video for Sandstorm, and then it was kind of an easy thing to have to follow up with a similar, quality and type of production, which actually was still directed by Juuso Syrjä, the same guy who did the first video. And also a little bit of a Finland commercial because we did it up north Lapland in Finland, and some of the driving sequences were on the Norwegian side.
Yeah. So who made the script? Was it also like
Yeah, the boys again, Juuso and I believe Misko Iho was involved in that as well. They were VJs in Helsinki nightlife around the time at a club called Screen, and I think most nights they were VJing together. They were just like so into the visual stuff back then, and then both of them have had long careers in advertising and commercials, but also like feature films, and Juuso has been very successful in the Nordic noir type of TV series or like Netflix series type of stuff as well.
Yeah. You know, it's also funny. I told you before the interview that the lights that I'm using for this setup are his lights.
Yes, but you know what? That is so beautiful. You don't even understand. I was very new to Helsinki at the time. I only knew people through Jaakko here, and even Jaakko was from Turku, but he moved here a couple of years before. I think, or around the time that Sandstorm was made. His studio was still in Turku then, 99, and so maybe 2000 or something he moved here. And he knew these music circles, which I wasn't a part of. But all of this stuff comes from a tiny, tiny circle of very talented people who, many of them, have had sort of successful careers on their own since. And it's just so, like, it describes the small, amazing circles in Finland. You having some gear from Juuso who was involved back then as well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So regarding the video, when they told you could drive a nice sports car, get into a helicopter and play a gig at the top of a mountain, I guess you quickly said yes or no.
Yeah, I was game immediately. I don't remember, honestly now, if that was the first plot for the music video, but yeah, we myself, but also 16 we agreed on that plot. It sounded good and sounded like it's gonna look epic and whatnot, and it did. Like, we flying in the helicopter was incredible in the middle of sort of wilderness in Lapland. But what is even more incredible is that I actually got there. There was people who were hiking with gear to that cabin in the middle of nowhere. What I did, I got a ride on a water plane, so there was a lake nearby, and I got a ride with that and landed like on a pontoon plane. That was pretty crazy. That was my first time doing that. And so then we had the party there, and generators, and we had a DJ who was kind of warming up, hey Tero, and the party there was like a real party. It was really, really cool. And I still I know several of the people who were involved, and we still every once in a while exchange a message or slap a high five here and there. And the driving part was very, very nerve-wracking. I was in charge of a Viper that has, I don't know, 400 horsepower or something. I'd been used to, I learned how to drive a stick, so that wasn't the difficulty, but the clutch was so heavy. My leg was like shaking after the day, and I actually even almost really badly messed up the car, but not in the way that you might imagine. I didn't crash it, but one time in the helicopter scene, when a helicopter lands and I run to it, and my lady counterpart runs to it as well, I somehow accidentally, I think, undid the handbrake.
Oh.
And the car started slowly veering to the middle of this stop point that you have in the Lapland nature, this ring, and it actually fell in the little bushes, and I was just there, and I needed to drive it out of there. So the production crew made this makeshift bridge of like 2x4s and stuff, and it was not easy and it was not pretty.
So there's footage somewhere of this or not?
There's probably, I've never seen footage of it. I would imagine they probably kept the camera running.
Oh, that's funny. So yeah, Feel the Beat was the second single of your debut artist album Before the Storm, which you already spoke about. So yeah, when Feel the Beat came out, did you already have like high expectations from it, or were you so busy with touring, new releases and other things?
Well, I think we had high expectations in the sense that Sandstorm had done really well at that point. we were working with the same team. I obviously worked with Jaakko, like I did with the one before. We had Neo releasing it, and the hype was pretty good. But I wasn't expecting it to be like the same number 3 or whatever, but it went to number 5 in UK, and it did really well in other countries as well. I don't remember all those numbers, but Canada was really good. Later on, US was really good as well. Several countries like Australia and New Zealand and whatnot were high on the charts as well. So it did well. I think even if it didn't hit the 3 in UK, but the 5, I think it was
pretty decent.
It was pretty decent, and I don't think anybody was disappointed. Well, maybe the record company in UK was or something, but I wasn't disappointed. I was excited.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So yeah, same as with Sandstorm, you were asked to perform Feel the Beat at Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
So yeah, how did the recording go this time?
Oh, it went well, and it was funny as well. We had an amazing dancing crew. So I had my little post with my gadgets and whatnot, did my thing, and we had dancers who did a choreography, and one of the dancers had like this Madonna mic, and she was singing "Feel the Beat" while she was dancing, and it looked legit.
Legit, yeah. So do you have any idea how many copies of Feel the Beat have been sold during the years?
You know what? I actually don't. It's sold less than Sandstorm, but actually initial years probably it wasn't that far behind. But then Sandstorm became the meme and became the phenomenon, whatever it is now, and Feel the Beat didn't like that. So I think it also did really well for a dance record, but not as well as Sandstorm.
Yeah.
And I think people think that they're offending me when they say like Feel the Beat is better than Sandstorm, but I really don't care. Like I think it's amazing that people have other favorites than Sandstorm as well.
Yeah, so yeah, Sandstorm was your first release. Yeah, and you never thought that. Does it bother you?
It doesn't bother me. It did, or I had negative feelings about not the track, but about the fact that people ask me almost only about Sandstorm, and that is the most known thing. But I don't know what the number is, maybe 10 years ago or maybe more now, I come to realization that not everybody has one hit. And I do maybe 2 or 3 if whatever your criteria is. And if Ton comes to my show in 2025 because they only know Sandstorm, that's one more ticket sold, and that's one more sort of opportunity for me to show what I do now. And I also not just believe, but I know I have proof enough that if you like Sandstorm and if you come to my show, you're not going to leave thinking like, oh, the others sucked. Like I think the other stuff that I make and what I play in my DJ set is not that much of a departure from the vibes of Sandstorm either. So I think you kind of should enjoy the whole thing as well.
Yeah. So yeah, you did achieve so many things in your career already. So I'm wondering if there's still something on your bucket list music-wise.
The music bucket list is endless. Like I just want to make new music alone and with other people. I want to write with other people. I want to maybe something that I should at some point try to concentrate more on is just to write and produce for other people, and kind of like leaving the Darude name out of it. That's because there's a huge level of skill and sort of your view and angle required to produce for somebody else, and not be thinking about your own feelings on stage or how it will reflect on you. It frees you up doing something different, but you also feel like there's a different kind of pressure showing up for somebody else. So that's something that I have done a little bit, but not like a full time. So that might be cool. But I just want to make new music, and when I sit down and start tinkering, I kind of still feel the same that I did when I made Sandstorm and before that. Like Sandstorm was my first release, but I made music for 3 or 4 years by the time. And it's always about just sitting down. Sometimes I have a full idea. Sometimes I have one sample. Sometimes I don't have anything, but I just start messing around and like things start firing up. I start hearing things and hope that nobody's going to take me to a hospital because I hear things that nobody else does. And then I just tinker and start doing kind of like Lego or whatever, building blocks, and finally it becomes a track. And I still love that process. And sometimes that's me alone doing that, but sometimes I get, inspiration from others in terms of samples, melodies or vocals. And sometimes I send instrumentals to others and they'll start working on it. And that all is just ever inspiring still.
Yeah. So do you often have writer's block or not at all?
You know what? I do recognize writer's block, but I never suffer from it. And I'm not saying I don't have it, but I always have unanswered emails, unanswered calls. I have this to-do list app that I love punching in ideas. And those days that I don't feel like working, I very rarely feel pressure about it, because I think it's a well-used day. Today, actually more so if I just rest, but especially if I go to the studio, which is kind of my office then as well, I go through my laundry list of other things to do, and there's endless amount of that. So when I get something ticked off of those, that's kind of fixing in my head, the need to do something.
Yeah.
Being productive. And if it wasn't music that day, that kind of doesn't bother me. And so then usually actually when I'm better rested, then the sort of artistic stuff and creative stuff starts firing again too.
Yeah. So what kind of music do you listen to in your spare time?
You know what I've always said, and my background is in radio listening, like pop music, electronic dance music in early 90s, mid 90s, or even before that, like Jean-Michel Jarre and all kinds of stuff. But so then I skateboarded when I was young. I listened to a lot of punk, back then, sort of the commercial stuff that reached Finland, Offsprings and Bad Religions and that kind of stuff. Metallica, of course, and 80s heavy metal, hair metal, Bon Jovi's and that kind of stuff. And I still kind of like checking those out every once in a while, and flood of memories come back of good old days. But then at the same time today, popping in something to Spotify, like, deep house or whatever, and having that kind of in the background of, it's not meaningless at all, but it's not something that I'm paying attention fully. And I enjoy that kind of thing, and every once in a while, oh, this is a good track, kind of vibing to that for a little and then going on doing something. So I'm quite sort of open to music, but when it's active listening, it's most of the time then just checking promos for my DJ sets, and I'm very picky about that. And I would say like 2 to 5% of the promos I hear, I keep and put in my DJ set sort of to try list, and then not all of those start living in my DJ sets, but then that's the stuff that if it comes to my like very focused taste in music, is the stuff that I DJ. And that's not only for work, thinking business-wise that that's going to work on a dance floor, but I play what I think I feel here.
What you like. Yeah. So you already mentioned skateboarding. So I know that, besides skateboarding, I think you also like ice skating.
Yeah, I played ice hockey when I was a kid, and I continued to do all these years. These days, too little, but I still, I have my gear, and I have a team in my hometown where I go play every once in a while.
So besides the ice skating and skateboarding, do you have like any other hobbies?
I like snowboarding as well. I get to do that way too little. But then my hobbies are being a parent for 2 kids and being a husband for an amazing wife, and who I run the business with together, or she runs it, and I get to do what I do, and she's the we call her the FOA. It means facilitator of all, and which means in the business and in the household. So I'm lucky like that.
Good. Well, I like that. Well, thank you very much for your time, and good luck with everything.
Oh, thank you, my man. Always a pleasure.
Alright, that was it. This week's vlog, my interview with Darude, and the story behind Feel the Beat. Ville, thanks a lot for your time. Much appreciated. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, make sure to give this video a like. Leave a comment in the comment section below. And very important, make sure to subscribe. Also make sure to click the bell button, because then you will get a notification the next time a new vlog is online. And I did 2 more interviews with Darude. In the first one, he's talking about his monster hit Sandstorm. And in the second one, you will hear more about the story behind his debut album Before the Storm. So make sure to check them out. Once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye!